Is Sutter Health Ballpark more of a disadvantage than a home field advantage for the A's? Host of Locked On Kings and Sacramento's ABC 10's sports anchor Matt George comes on to talk about today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I am your host, Booney, one name, all passion. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. This isn't just another A's podcast. This is the most informative and insightful show on the A's, period. We cover the A's every single day, breaking down games, delivering the latest team news, and giving you deep, thoughtful analysis you will not find anywhere else. If it's happening in Sacramento or in Las Vegas, we got you covered. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. And please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Today's show comes to you from a bit of a crossroads for the A's. At the time I'm recording this, the A's are gearing up for a 6-game homestand at Sutter Health Park. Yeah, still getting used to saying that, where they will take on two of the best teams in all of baseball, the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets. A measuring stick for sure. A statement opportunity, maybe. But right now, the vibes are off. Because let's be real, the first series in Sacramento was a dud. The A's got flat out swept by the Chicago Cubs, and I was there for 2 of the 3 games. What I saw wasn't just a team that lost. I saw a team that looked like it didn't have a pulse, a team that didn't feel like it had a home. The energy, not there. The crowd, sparse. The whole thing, strange. From attendance numbers to where the A's held their press conference, it felt like baseball was happening in the background. Sacramento is a city with real sports history and passionate fans, but the reception to the A's, lukewarm at best. So is the media stirring the pot and making things seem worse than they are? Or are fans right to feel cheated by this in-between limbo of a season? Is the criticism legit or just noise? To get into all of it, I'm bringing on Matt George from ABC 10 in Sacramento, host of Locked On Kings. He's been on the ground at Sutter Health covering every awkward moment of this rollout. We are talking about accountability, where it belongs, the fan experience, whether it's real or manufactured, and the deeper questions surrounding this team's future and its identity crisis. And hey, maybe by the time you are listening to this, the A's have rolled the Padres in Game 1 and everything looks better in green and gold. Maybe this is just early jitters and we are all overreacting. Or maybe it runs deeper than just one bad series. Let's get into it. Matt George. Matt, first off, thank you so much for joining us. I understand I know how busy you must be, and I want to thank you for your time today, my friend.
Hey, it's a pleasure. A's baseball in Sacramento, so let's talk about it.
I was at 2 of the 3 games last year, and as I said at the intro, the vibe out there for me was eerie, strange. It felt like the team on the field and how they played, it felt like it wasn't their home, and it felt like the fans in the stands felt like, hey, we're watching baseball. Did you have the same type of vibe or feel out there?
What surprised me about opening day was just the amount of A's fans that were there, because I expected to see a lot of baseball fans that were there, or curious Sacramentans that were there, and maybe they'd wear the hat of their favorite team or just wear generic clothing. But it was a big A's crowd, a lot of A's fans, including a big look like Bay Area contingent on that first day. Game 2 and game 3, it was pretty mixed with a lot of Chicago Cubs fans, which I kind of expect because the Cubs travel really well. But it'll be interesting to see this week with the Padres and the Mets, how well they travel, because those are obviously two pretty high profile teams with big stars. So it'll be interesting to see what the crowds are like for that. I think there was a lot of excitement on this end. It's weird because like I feel like a hypocrite or a traitor in some ways, but I have a job to do because I was very vocal against the move to Sacramento, very vocal against everything that happened to Oakland. And then now that it's here, working for ABC 10 and covering it for Sacramento, it is very exciting for this city. It is new for this city. It's an opportunity for this city. So there was an excitement level, I think, on my end, and then from like the kind of the news and broadcast standpoint of this is real, it's here. We got the Cubs, Major League Baseball in the ballpark. But I do agree that it didn't entirely feel like Major League Baseball, and no disrespect to both teams. Maybe it's just because there wasn't a massive star there yet. We haven't had the Tatis Jr., we haven't had the Juan Soto, the Aaron Judge, the Mike Trout come through Sutter Health Park yet. So maybe that'll change the feel. But it definitely was a feeling of excitement, like newness in Sacramento. But then this kind of, let's put it this way. The A's have done a really good job of letting everybody know how temporary this is. From the Las Vegas patch on their sleeve to the Las Vegas wall in left center field. Like they just want to constantly remind you, hey, this is our home ballpark. Kinda. It's more of the couch that we're sleeping on.
I don't have much of an issue with the Las Vegas patches and that sort of thing. I do have an issue with the city of Sacramento not being part of their name. John Fisher alone with making a public comment and making it known that, hey, we're not taking the Sacramento name, shows you how out of touch in reality he is. And that bothers me. It bothers me because he is bringing more attention to a team on the field that is trying to get a job done that doesn't need that. And in my opinion, it affected the team on the play on the field because you have a team out there that is not representing a city when it justly should. There was no reason for him to do that. And that really, really bothers me. And I think that has a big part to do with maybe what I feel or what I imagine feeling out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dwindling numbers of fan support per each day kind of reflect that. I was a little surprised by, I think it was 12,000 opening night, 10,000 game 2, 9,000 game 3. And again, game 2 and 3 had a large Cubs contingent of fans. I was surprised because this is definitely an opportunity for Sacramento. And I think Sacramento recognizes the opportunity that it is. And maybe when the weather changes and when it gets warmer, or when these big clubs come through, that maybe the crowds will be sellouts every single night. But I mean, you had really only one announced sellout the first night. I know people were confused because isn't it a 14,000 seat stadium? I got clarification from the A's. It's actually like a 13.1 or 0.2 thousand seat stadium because of the amount of grass space, the new renovations. And so many tickets were given out for comp for the front office and for player families and things of that nature. So that's why only the 2,000 or the 10 or 12,000 or whatever were available to sell, but that was still a sellout. But I mean, to not sell out games 2 or 3 that quickly was pretty telling to me. And I do think the Sacramento element has something to do with it. Like Sacramento was excited to have Major League Baseball here, and they still are, but there is this feel here that from the standard fan, the average fan of this team is making it known that they don't belong to us. They're not ours. They're just here for right now. And plus there's been boasting and bragging in this city or in Major League Baseball. I think Kings owner Vivek Ranadive has talked about it, how this is the most expensive ticket in Major League Baseball. Well, the team doesn't warrant that. So it's the vibes around it and those elements are kind of strange and definitely do distract from the opportunity that's here.
So that's another thing is I want to kind of get to is the inaccuracies as far as what I hear. For example, attendance. You tell me if I'm wrong. It is my understanding that all the season tickets, for the most part, are sold out.
Yes.
Now, as far as fans attending the game, that's different, right? I mean, whether you're going to get a ticket on the secondary market or whatever it may be, but there's sellouts. Is that correct?
Correct. As far as I've been told, every single season ticket opportunity is sold out.
And why it's being known, and I saw the same thing. Median price for the A's is $180, which is ridiculous. I was thinking about going to the game this week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I could have gotten a decent seat, third baseline, about 20 rows up for $40.
Yep.
And the 180 is just not there. I mean, if you want to sit right behind, a real darn good seat, yeah, obviously, but I'm not seeing median tickets for $180. In every chance I turn, it seems like there is some sort of negative type of reporting that is being done on the A's, at least from the Bay Area standpoint, to put down this franchise. And it's driving me crazy. I don't know what's going on in Sacramento. I don't think the same deal's coming from Sacramento, but from the Bay Area itself, from the media tent. I never even cared less what team had what media tent. And that's all of a sudden something now.
It's pretty bad, though. It is pretty bad, but
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
It's
but
pretty bad.
It's gotten to the point when you come. It seems like they're almost just poking at it.
Sure.
And Johnfisher hasn't done himself any favors. With that being said, do you feel like there is some inaccurate reporting with regard to the A's to help fit a narrative of negativity towards a franchise?
I think the best way to sum it up, I think the A's are low-hanging fruit. And I don't think there's much that they could have done to the minor league ballpark or to the team or to fan support or whatever to stop that from national TV broadcasts. And like, I think PTI did a 30-second segment after the home opener. They called it an embarrassment. They just showed pictures of the ballpark, which if you watch on the broadcast, the ballpark looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And when you're there, I think the fan experience there, I know it was chilly for the first couple of nights, but the fan experience there was solid. Now, I experienced a whole different side. I experienced kind of from the media side, there were a lot of things that went wrong. And that's unfortunate, but also kind of to be expected. Now, like there were like on opening night, the radio broadcast cut out for both the A's and the Cubs multiple times from internet issues and technological issues. But this is also like you've changed a minor league ballpark and tried to shove in major league infrastructure into it. And you had no soft open, right? It's bam, opening day, Chicago Cubs, 12,000 people, figure it out. So this is all stuff that will get better, but it's easy to latch onto. And the consensus that I've got are from a lot of people that I've talked to, like, those who were there have said, and my wife went to the second game. She and her sister had a great time. For those who were there, it's like, yeah, this is cool. This is neat, especially with all the changes to Sutter Health Park. But for those who kind of are watching on television or from the outside who are reacting on social media and seeing what everybody's seeing on social media, they have a very different understanding of what's going on. Like game one, the drone delay in the 7th inning. Everybody at the ballpark's like, oh, there's a drone. They're getting it. Okay, play ball.
Right.
On the internet, there's a drone. Look at this embarrassment. So it's just, but it's easy. It's the A's. It's low hanging fruit. And the one thing that I will say is, I think the A's do deserve it because of how they've put themselves in this position.
Yeah.
That being, the players don't, the team doesn't, but the ownership, they've made this bed and they kind of got to lay in it, but it's not nearly as bad as some people make it out to be.
The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, After the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. I agree with you to a certain point. I think the biggest thing the A's did as far as not the favor is adopting the Sacramento team name. As far as moving from Oakland to Sacramento, the lease negotiations were nuts. Okay. As far as what really went down, I don't agree with how it was handled by Oakland. I mean, they wanted Fisher to give up the name Athletics to Oakland, pay $2.5 million. We could go round and round about that, but regardless, Fisher also did it to himself by not taking Sacramento Athletics. And he made it a point by coming public and saying, we're not doing it. And then he doubled down on it when he was interviewed before opening night as well, and trying and kept on using that damn word intimacy, which drives me nuts with regard to the ballpark. So he deserves a lot as far as it goes, because initially I was so excited about them going to Sacramento. I lived in Sacramento. I had season tickets to the Kings back in '99 when they first got Weber. And Sacramento is electric. And I was thinking, you know what? They're going to adopt them for 3 years, and it's going to be 12,000, 13,000 fans in that place, and it's going to be something that nobody else has seen. I did not see him making a point not taking Sacramento's name. And if I knew that, I wish they just went to Vegas straight ahead, because this is going to linger for another 3 years of the same crap. And he could fix it tomorrow if he wants. Question is, do you ever see in the next couple of years the fans being as electric or as into it as, let's say, a Kings game, or is that just out of the question?
Ooh, well, let's put it this way. If you like offense, come to Sutter Health Park. That
100%.
ball is flying.
Yeah,
and this is on a cold 40, 50 degree night, and you have balls get hit 440 feet off the top of the new batter's eye in center field. Like, the ball is jumping. We're going to see Tatis Jr. and Soto in the ballpark this week. Who knows what they're going to do to the baseball? Brent Rooker already has a pair of bombs there. Like, the ball is jumping. Pitchers are going to get decimated in that ballpark. ERAs are going to get destroyed. Luis Severino looked terrible in that ballpark. Like, it's just it is. Well, the fact that the A's have also given up double-digit runs in 3 of their last 6 games is probably not too encouraging for this coaching staff too. To be fair, they went from Sacramento to Colorado. Those are probably maybe at this point 2 of the biggest hitters parks in the MLB. So the ball's going to fly. If you want home runs, it's going to be crazy. I'm holding out hope for, since they're so night game heavy, once we get to summertime, once we get to June and July, and maybe even really late May and early August, it's still going to be a little toasty at 7 o'clock first pitch.
Sure.
But it's with hopefully the Delta breeze and everything, it's going to be nice. And that's where I think you're going to see more of the Sacramento kind of festive atmosphere. But I think what the A's have done, since kind of a theme is talking about not including Sacramento in the name, what the A's have done is, to the casual, common, loyal to a fault fan who will pick them as their team and defend them and love them to the end of the earth, even through all the pain and suffering that Kings fans have been through, because they represent the city. You took those fans and you took that passion off the table. The vibe of the Kings in Sacramento is, even though they drive us crazy, we love them because they're ours, and we're going to support them to the end. 100%. And the A's have made it known that they are something to do in Sacramento for the next 3 years. So people are going to be excited to experience it. But to go back to your question, they're not Sacramento's own, so they won't get Sacramento's best, I don't think.
Instead of embracing Sacramento, and really, they've gone the opposite direction. And that pisses me off a lot. If you had a choice, let's just go with 2. If the games were played in Oakland, let's say they figured out the lease, it would be nuts right there as far as the hatred towards ownership and the sell the campaign and so forth. What would you rather have? A's in Oakland right now, knowing that's happening, or the A's in Sacramento? Or would you go, hey, why go through all this? Just go to Vegas and play in the Aviators Park for 3 years.
Knowing full well exactly what you're alluding to, it's no hesitation A's in Oakland for me. That's where they belong. That's home.
Even if they're going to be there for 3 years and they're taking off to Vegas?
Yes, because at least I do think it's 3 more years although maybe the ballpark is completely empty. Like it would be, I think it would be contentious to say the least, but that's what it's also been for the last handful of years. Like anytime, or the A's being in Oakland is home, and it will be home for me, and that's where they belong. So however much time they spend in their home where they belong is what's most important to me. So I will always pick that answer first and foremost, understanding whole well how the environment would be. But the one thing, regardless of how the government handled it, the city handled it, Fisher handled it, the MLB handled it, and it's pretty hypocritical seeing what they're doing with Tampa Bay. And the fact that it's happening almost at the exact same time is hilarious too. All of that taken off the table, the people that don't deserve what's happened are the fans in Oakland. And those are the ones that at least would get their team a little bit longer. So even with the opportunity to have A's baseball here in Sacramento, if you were to tell me today, Matt, you can take this all away, take away the improvements to Sutter Health Park, and take away Sacramento's opportunity to impress Major League Baseball for them to stay in Oakland, I'd say yes. I'd hit that button, no hesitation, because that's where they belong.
When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they are free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with two-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without the artificial junk. Whether you are recovering after a workout or need an energy boost, their grass-fed wheat protein and pre-workout deliver real results. Visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. One point everyone talks about is spending on free agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's an open statement, right? You're not telling on who to spend, who are you going to replace, etc. For example, the A's second most paid player this year, I wish they never signed. And he's cost us a game. He almost cost us a second game in Jose Leclerc. I wish we never signed him, but we signed him to just it was for a reason as well, right? We had to get to that minimum payroll, and we were just spending to spend. Fans and media seem like they know it all until something happens. The other example I'm going to use is with the Kings. When Mike Brown got filed, this franchise is going south, and De'Aaron Fox got traded away, etc. And there was a little bit of a struggle with Levine coming over, and now they're in a playoff spot. And things have completely switched. We saw that with the Mavericks a little bit as well. Is there a little too much judgment coming from fans, coming from the media when they're not literally in practice and around? Is there too much judgment to be passed? Or has professional sports more turned into rooting for an individual and a team winning is secondary?
I don't think in Sacramento that's the case at all. And just to kind of correct what you say, the Kings are not in a playoff spot; they're in a play-in spot.
Excuse me, they're the 9th spot, right?
Which is very technical in the NBA.
Right, I get you.
For A's fans to understand, the Kings are not in a good spot right now. They're not. Okay. They're not a good basketball team right now. They lost their direction. Like they don't really have a direction right now. But this might be what's important to your point. Vivek Ranadive has vastly struggled more often than he's been successful as the owner of the Sacramento Kings. He's had one legit playoff year, and I think the 13 years that he's been here as an owner, and he's made a lot of mistakes. The one thing he's never done is not spend, right? He's always put his money forward if free agents were available or for new contracts or stuff. He's paid. So I think the way it works in Major League sports is if you're not willing to spend, you're killed for it. But then if you start spending, now you have to spend correctly, right? So
Right.
it's almost like tiers or checkpoints of a video game. So
yeah.
the A's didn't get past the first checkpoint of spend money. Now they're spending money. Now they're going to start to, okay, but are you spending your money correctly? So that, I think that's the next step of where we're at. But like in Sacramento, the team success is what matters most. We love individuals and we appreciate individuals. And while they're wearing a Sacramento Kings jersey, like they're our guys.
Yeah.
Once they leave, though, like De'Aaron Fox is a villain already here in Sacramento. He doesn't deserve to be, I don't think, but he is, and he's going to be. So the success of the Kings is paramount to Kings fans over any individualized success.
Okay.
Can't speak to baseball, though, because baseball stars are going to be rolling through Sacramento.
Right.
And again, we'll see with Tatis and Soto and Judge and all these guys, how many people just show up for them and them alone.
Right.
So maybe the circumstance is different in that case. But in Sacramento, it's definitely team that represents city first.
I got you. No, I definitely understand. We'll see what happens this week. I'm dreading the series. I'm dreading these 6 games. I'll be shocked if the A's win 1. You told me I'll take it right now. For me, it's a team. I've said it going into the year. I had high expectations. I've said it in the past. I felt the A's were going to run away with the West based on what they did in July and August last year. They were absolutely on a tear. But I felt a lot of that had to do with the stars being stars, like a Rooker, like a Butler. And more importantly, I felt like they needed to play with that chip on their shoulder. They needed to have that chemistry and that togetherness. And it's the furthest thing right now with comments from like Severino and Butler as far as complaining and playing in Sacramento. And they're not good enough to win on talent alone. So I hope that gets figured out. These next 6 games is going to be telling, but I will tell you this: the first 3 look like they didn't look comfortable in that ballpark.
Yeah, something that stuck with me is in spring training when I covered spring training, Luis Severino said, like, if we score 3 runs, we should win. Like, it should be enough to win. That ain't it. Like it's I think the A's got to score 5 to 6 runs a game if they want any shot of winning, and especially in that home ballpark. So hey, if that's going to be your home ballpark, you're going to be playing in it more than any other team. Don't be afraid of what Aaron Judge can do in that ballpark. Make opposing pitchers afraid of everybody. So Soderstrom has 4 homers. Jacob Wilson has a pair of homers. Like everybody should hit bombs in that ballpark. Now get some freaking people on base so it's not just solo shots the entire time. Let's
exactly. I mean, they played some bad baseball. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be exciting. Looking forward to this week. And Matt, hey, thank you so much for your time. I understand you're extremely busy. And hey, maybe the Kings can put together a run like they did last night, huh?
Honestly, who knows? Who knows? There's a lot of us in Sacramento that just want this Kings season to kind of end so they can get to work on their future, and then we can enjoy some A's baseball in whatever capacity it's going to be here for the next year. So we'll all be anxiously paying attention. But thank you, Booney, for having me, and we'll see how this roller coaster goes.
Take care, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts.